Christopher Nolan's Memento is really one of those films you have to see to believe. Fantastic cinematography, great screenplay, and marvelous acting, particularly by Guy Pearce. He plays Leonard, a man who has lost his memory. He really has what's called anterior grade amnesia. In other words, known as short-term memory. He cannot hold on to a thought for more than a few seconds before he forgets. He constantly scribbles, notes, and he has tattoos all over his body to try to remind him of just what he's doing and where he is and where he has to go to next. The mystery is unfolding before our very eyes. Someone is dead, at least one person, and Leonard has to figure out what on earth is going on and how he could possibly be connected to all of these events that we see in the film. Now, it's shot in two different types of styles. There's one story going on here that's shot in color, a second story going on here that's shot in black and white. The black and white is a documentary feel in which Leonard, mainly isolated, talks about his feelings about what he's doing and how he exists as a human being amidst all the mystery that has taken over him. He's trying to understand, as are we in the audience. The color story is about Leonard in his present day, interacting with the world and the people in it, and how he tries to find his way through that world. He seems more confident in that world, and we see that very clearly. And Mr. Nolan's screenplay gives us some insight into what he's trying and how he is and what he's trying to do with his life. There's Joe Pantoliano, who plays an undercover police officer who helps him gain his bearings, and there's some good work here also by Carrie-Anne Moss. She plays a woman who may have some ties to Leonard's mystery story. There's lots going on in this screenplay, and there's lots going on in the visuals, and Wally Pfister expertly shoots them for Mr. Nolan. There's also the score from David Julyan that's also very good, and it has some really powerful dynamics to it, but it's all subtle. Some of the score is synthesized. In fact, much of it is. It reminds me very much of the Blade Runner score that was done by Vangelis many years ago, and Vangelis also did the score for Chariots of Fire. Memento is exasperating in some instances and absolutely exhilarating in others. It's shot out of sequence, or I should say it's presented to us in reverse chronological order, so that every scene kind of plays out in reverse. It kind of plays out where by the time we get to the end of the scene, we're actually getting closer to the beginning of the story rather than the end of the film in its true sense. There's a special two-disc edition DVD that was released several years ago for this film, Memento, and it actually has the actual chronological version, the proper version of the film in terms of it playing in the proper chronological order on disc number 2. Now, there are several things you can do to get to that, and in my written portion of this correspondence hour or correspondence bulletin, you'll be able to see exactly how you get there. Memento is a fascinating film to watch, though, and Guy Pearce is excellent here as Leonard Shelby. There's also, as I said, some good work by the rest of this cast. It's a stellar film. It was released in 2001. It was shot over 25 days back in 1999. It was Chris Nolan's second film. He directed a film called Following before that, which was released in some places in 1998. Memento, one of the classics, and for me, the best film of the 2000s. I am Omar for the Popcorn Reel, and I'm also the foreign correspondent, or the far-flung correspondent, for Roger Ebert at the Chicago Sun-Times.